If you're just getting started in content creation, then filming yourself can be one of the most difficult parts to get used to. It can feel really awkward and unnatural, especially if you've never done it before. But just like any skill, there's lots of different ways to become more confident and comfortable in front of the camera so it becomes second nature. Welcome back to Make It Happen Mondays, where I help you make your content happen. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, but let's get straight into tip number one. So my first tip is to actually practice filming yourself talking about things that aren't related to your content. And I found a great way to do this is literally just as I go about my day, sometimes I'll just pull out my phone from my pocket, hit record and start talking to the camera just about whatever's going on. I'll talk about my thoughts, I'll talk about something I'm interested in, and just try to get comfortable filming myself talking about whatever, where there's no pressure and I don't feel the need to say everything perfectly. And then the cool thing is you can just delete it as soon as you've recorded it so nobody ever has to see it. Tip number two is to wait until you're in a relaxed mood before you actually film your content. And I find this to be really important for me personally. When I feel stressed, tired, overworked, whatever it is, and I try and sit down and film a video, it just never comes across as naturally as I'd want it to. And I kind of feel like I'm forcing it. So if I'm not already in a relaxed mood on the day that I'm trying to film my content, I'll do some things to try and relax me. Sometimes that might be just watching some YouTube videos, some funny content on Netflix, just something to chill me out a bit and get me in a good mood. Sometimes I'll call a friend or a family member just to have a chat with them, just to relax myself. Obviously, I want it to be someone who does relax me. I don't want to call someone who's going to stress me out, but just having a nice relaxed chat with someone that I know often helps put me into a relaxed state. And number three tip is to increase your energy as much as possible on camera. And the old saying is that the camera will add 10 pounds, but in my experience, it takes 10 pounds of your energy. So for some reason, anytime I film a video and I feel like I'm being really high energy and excited, when I actually watch it back, I look really dull and monotone, and I've got hardly any expression. And of course, I think this is obviously going to be different for everyone. Some people who are more naturally extroverted are going to just naturally come across more energetic on camera, and people who are more introverted like myself are going to naturally come across as more chill on camera. But I think especially for those introverts among us, if you think you're being energetic while you're recording yourself, just try and amp it up like 10 times and it will probably look relatively normal when you actually watch it back. And for me, the ways I increase my energy is to literally, I'll drink a coffee right before I film my videos. Sometimes I'll do a quick workout, we'll get some exercise to try and boost my energy levels, but you can just do whatever works for you. Anything you find that lifts your energy a bit, try and do that right before you film a video. My fourth tip is probably the one that's made the biggest difference for me when it comes to feeling comfortable in front of the camera, and that is to imagine that your camera is a person that you know. Now I know it sounds kind of weird, but I'll literally sit down and I'll look at my camera and I'll imagine that it's a person that I enjoy chatting with in a really relaxed way, like a good friend. And oftentimes before I even start recording anything, I'll just start chatting to the camera and literally visualize the person's head right in front of me. And then I always find that I feel more relaxed. I feel like I'm forcing what I'm trying to say less, and it just feels more conversational, which is what you want at the end of the day. You want to connect with your audience. If you talk to them like a real human being, aka if you talk to your camera like a real human being, it'll feel a lot more natural. Following on from that is tip number 5, which is to always have your camera recording. So generally what I'll do is as soon as I sit down, when I'm still setting up my content, or if I'm just looking through my script, I'll hit record. So the little red light pops up, but the idea is that even for me to this day, sometimes when I start recording, it just feels a little bit like there's extra pressure. I don't know why, because I can always go and delete the footage. But for some reason, for most of us, I think knowing you're being recorded just instantly adds that bit of pressure. And so the idea is if you're just recording all the time, even when you're not presenting content, it just helps you get used to the feeling of being recorded. And then my final tip number 6, is just to have fun with it. I think for me, that's even something that I often forget. I just kind of get into this, I must deliver this content perfectly mode, and I forget about enjoying myself. Like I get to make videos for a living, so if I'm not enjoying it, then maybe I should find a different job, right? But I do genuinely enjoy it. And so if you can find the fun in recording videos, then I think that'll help you feel a lot more relaxed, and hopefully it will help you come across a lot more naturally and relaxed on camera. So there you go. I really hope that helped you feel more confident going into your next recording. And after you've filmed your very first video, you're going to have to edit it, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it. But obviously you'll need to know how to edit. So I've created an entire 17-minute tutorial here, which will get you started in Final Cut Pro, which is the editing software that I recommend, which is perfect to watch if you don't have a background in editing or Final Cut Pro.